People of the State of Michigan versus Daryl Purcell. These are filed 2023521 and 2123687. Mr. George is the attorney. Mr. Marvin is the prosecutor. Magistrate, there's pleas to be entered. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Is the offer, Mr. Marvin?
In file 2023521, there'll be a plea to a use. There's been amended information submitted, file. And also in file 2023687, there'll be
2123687.
2123687. There'll be a plea to one possession of meth and then one count of R&O. The rest, including the habituals, will be dismissed.
Is that correct, Mr. George?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So the amended information is accepted, and the offer in 2023521 is to plead to a use of methamphetamine, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year and/or $2,000, and the court shall impose license sanctions. The rest of it would be dismissed. 2123687, plead to one count of possession of methamphetamine, a felony punishable by up to 10 years and/or $15,000, and unless sentenced to more than 1 year in prison, the court shall impose license sanctions. And a one count of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer, which is a felony punishable by up to 2 years and/or a fine of up to $2,000. Consecutive sentence could be imposed if the assault was committed in a place of confinement or under 750.81D6 for another violation arising out of the same transaction. The other R&O would be dismissed. The habitual offender fourth offense notice would be dismissed. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
No, sir.
So in 2023521, on the charge of use of methamphetamine, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And in 2123687, on the charge of possession of methamphetamine, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And on the charge of assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer, a 2-year felony, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And has anyone promised you anything else to get you to plead to these charges?
No, sir.
Anybody threaten you?
No, sir.
Are you doing this of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
And you understand if I accept your pleas, you'll not have a trial of any kind on either of these cases, and that you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. Those include the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent, to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have any witnesses against you appear at trial, to question the witnesses that appear against you, to have the court order witnesses you have for the defense to appear at trial, to remain silent during the trial and to not have that silence used against you, and to testify at trial if you want to testify. You understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal certain issues that would otherwise be appealable if convicted at trial. Further, any appeal for your conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave and not by right. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, in 2023521, it alleges that on July 11th of 2020, you were in Florence Township, County of St. Joseph, State of Michigan. Is that true?
Yeah, Lutz Road.
Okay, and at that time, it's alleged that you had used the controlled substance methamphetamine. Is that also true?
Yes, sir.
Right. And are counsel satisfied there's a factual basis?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you, the counsel, aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Has the court complied with the court rule?
Yes.
Yes, the court has.
I find the plea made is accurate, understanding, voluntary. There's a factual basis, therefore I accept the plea. In terms of this case, he served 1 day jail. He has the other case yet to answer for. Anything further, Mr. Marvin?
Nothing, Your Honor. We recognize his 1 day jail, and that's all I'm going to say.
Mr. George.
Your Honor, we would simply ask for time served and fines and costs in this matter. Thank you.
All right. All right. Mr. Purcell, anything in that regard in this case?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I was walking down Lutz Road and I got pulled over and I had a bowl in my pocket, so I'm guilty of that.
All right. All right. So 1 day, credit 1 day. excuse me,
Bless you.
$50 state cost, $75 crime victims assessment, and your license is suspended for 1 year, 2 months no driving, 10 months restricted. And again, that's through October 1st when the law changes, but they didn't, so it is what it is. It's through October 1st. And Mr. Purcell, that resolves that case. So now we have 2123687. In this case, you've pled to the charge of possession of methamphetamine and the charge of assault and resisting obstructing police officers. Here it alleges that on November 20th, 2020, you were in the city of Three Rivers, county of St. Joseph, state of Michigan. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And that at that time, you did knowingly or intentionally possess methamphetamine.
Yes, sir.
Where was it?
It was in my hoodie pocket.
Okay. And it's also alleged that you did either assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger either Officer Candolph or Officer Greenhall of the Three Rivers Police Department that you knew or had reason to know was performing his duty at the time. What happened with the police officers that makes you guilty of this?
Well, I dropped to my knees to pray when I don't even need to go into all that because that doesn't really matter. I mean, I had meth in my pocket and they found the meth.
Yeah, but what part of it was the obstructing?
Well, I dropped to my knees to pray. I mean, in the camera, it shows them, I don't want to say they're doing wrong because they weren't doing wrong, that he passed the meth to the other cop and he told him to stick it in his pocket, and I dropped to my knees to pray because that's not what I guess I know about law. I thought they were supposed to, I mean, it's all my thought, I thought. So, I mean, I might be in the wrong, but
I'm confused. Did you or did you not have methamphetamine on you?
I did.
Okay. So where are you saying that the officer put it in your pocket?
No, he said put it in his pocket. He told the other officer to put it in his pocket.
Okay.
And I fell to my knees and I started to pray. That's when the R&O happened because obviously, I mean, I was resisting.
Okay. So what do you say that, what were you saying that, you didn't believe it, that was the law? What part of that?
Well, I mean, I could have that construed. I haven't looked that up totally. But I thought they were supposed to field test it in front of me and they were supposed to, I mean, put it in a separate bag, not in their pocket. But I could be wrong. I mean.
Right, you're wrong. So they don't have to field test it. Actually, if it's a limited quantity, they may just save it and send it to the lab, or they may field test it later. And as far as that, if they don't want fingerprints on it, I mean, they found it on you. It's not a question of finding it on the ground and trying to determine your fingerprints. So the use of an evidence bag isn't necessary, but that's procedural. That's not rights. That's not anything to get you out of a charge because you think the officer used bad practices. What the officer says happened was, after you got arrested, you dropped to the ground and began, and then they had to drag you to the vehicle. So you dropped to the ground when they put you under arrest, and then they had to take you to the vehicle rather than you walking to the vehicle. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Are counsel satisfied that a factual basis has been established by the defendant's statement of facts?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
And are either counsel aware of any of their promises, threats, or inducements?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Court comply with court rule?
Yes.
Yes, the court has.
I find the plea made is accurate, understanding, voluntary. There's a factual basis. Therefore, I accept the plea. We'll set this for sentencing on July 30th. And we're going to send you that packet at that address you gave us. Make sure you fill it out immediately and return it. Make sure that you show up for the interview so that they can start your pre-sentence report. Understood?
Yep.
Okay. We'll see you back here in July and be